Hello everyone, we are Group 5. I'm Sagar and my teammates are Shreyas and Shivam. The provider code creates a chat application for remote message exchange using Node.js. In order to run this application, you need to have Node.js installed in your system. Let's have a quick look at the code now. We use several required Node.js modules like Net. This module provides networking capabilities and used for creating TCP servers and managing network connections. Readline. This model is used for reading user input from the command line. OS. This model provides various operating systems related information, including network interface. We have command line interface setup. Readline is used to create an interface for reading user input and displaying output in the command line. We have connection array. This array is used to create and store all active network connection to clients. Each connection is represented as a socket. We do have functions like prompt, a function that displays a prompt from user input in the command line, send message, a function that sends message to specific connection, list connections, a function that lists all active connections in the connection array, terminate connection, a function that terminates a specific connection by closing the socket. TCP server creation. A TCP server is created using net.createServer. This server listens on the port specified as command line argument and, for example, process.argv. From here on, my friend Shivam explains the code.
Server event handlers. The server has several event handlers. Connection event. When a new client connects, information about the connection is logged and the connection is added to the connections array. Data event. When data is received from a client, the server logs the message, the sender's IP address and port. End event. When a client disconnects, the server removes the connection from the connections array. Command line input event handler is rl.on in bracket double quotes line input. This event handler processes user commands entered in the command line. It parses the user's input, extracts the command and its arguments, and performs various actions based on the command. Supported command. The code supports several commands including help, displays a list of available commands and their descriptions. My IP displays the IP addresses of the server. My port displays the port on which the server is listening. Connect destination port establishes a new connection to a remote peer. List lists all connections. Terminate connection ID terminates a specific connection by its index. Send connection ID message sends a message to a specific connection. Exit closes all connections and terminates the server process. Error handling. The code includes basic error handling for cases where connection attempts fail or when invalid commands are entered. Interaction. Users can interact with the server by entering commands in the command line, and the server responds accordingly by displaying the information about the connections and handling data transfer between clients. Now, my friend Shreyas will give the demo for the above code.
Okay, so for demo, I have opened two different terminals. So here we have the first terminal, second terminal, and in order to run our application, which as you know is a Node.js application, so we will need to use the node command. So here's the command to run the specific file, which is chat.js. So we need to type node, then the file name, which is chat.js, and then again it takes one more argument, which is the port number. So for the first terminal, we are using 3000 port. So the specific terminal will run the server on 3000 port. On another terminal, which is just one on the right, we will use the same command, node space chat.js, and then we will do 5000 for this. So this specific server will be running on 5000. So if I click on enter, so as you see, the server will start listening on port 5000. The server has started, and we have the another server which is running on 5000. So we have two different servers running on two different terminals. So we'll check all the commands that we have for the users. First, we'll see the help command. So if I type help, it will give me the list of all the commands and it will show me what exactly these commands do. Next, we will see the next command, which is my IP. So if I type my IP, it will give me the IP address for this specific server, which is 192.168.1.2. This is the IP address of my current system. And if I do the same thing on another terminal, this will also give me 192.168.1.2, The IP addresses are same because we are running two different terminals, but it's running on the same system. So that is the reason why the IP addresses are same. If we use two different systems, then we will see two different IP address. So we move on to the next command, which is my port. So if I do my port, in this case, it will give me 3000. And if I do the same thing on another terminal, it will give me 5000. So this was all about my IP and my port. Next we'll move on to the connect command. So if I do connect, it takes two arguments, which is the IP address. In this case, it is 192.168.1.2, and it also takes another command, which is the port. So this port is the port of the terminal number 2. Since we are trying to connect terminal 1 with terminal 2, so if I click on enter, the connection will be established. So that's how we'll establish the connection. For one more, so let's say if I try to connect again on the same IP address, and if I type the same port, this will give me the message that, hey, we are already connected, so we don't need to connect again. So for next command, we will see the list, which is basically command used to list down all the connections. In this case, we are connected to 192.168.1.2 and 5000, which is the terminal number 2. If I do the same, in this case, it will give me the IP addresses of terminal 1. We move on to the next command, which is send. So if I do send, so send is basically used for sending messages, and it takes two arguments. It takes the connection ID, which is in this case the connection ID is 1. So I do 1, and then our message, which is, let's say I do hello from terminal 1, and if I click on enter, you see the message is received to the sender, which is the terminal 2. And now if I do the same from terminal 1, first I will list down my ID, connection ID is 1. So here in this case, if I do send 1 hello from terminal 2, and if I click on enter, you see the message is received, hello from terminal 2, and this message is received to the terminal. So this is how we establish the remote message connection through our Node.js application. We move on to the next command, which is terminate. So terminate will basically terminate the connection. We need to pass the connection ID. In this case, the connection ID is 1. So we do terminate 1. The connection is closed. Now if I do list, you see nothing is displayed because we have terminated the connection. And if I, for the next command, we have exit. So exit will basically exit from this particular application. So if I do, and it will close everything, close the entire connection. If I click on enter, you see the server is closed, everything is closed, and we are exited out of the terminal. If you do the same thing in this case, if you first of all, if you do list, you see nothing is connected. So next is exit. This will also be exited, and the server will be closed. So that's all about demo for this specific project. We have specifically used Node.js. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask us. Thank you.